In the beginning of a relationship, everything seems to be touched with love and romance, but every relationship needs attention to thrive. Psychotherapist Richard Martin is a couples counselor at the Center for Transforming Relationships in Hadley, and he's here to tell us how to bring romance back into our relationships. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure, Seth.
So I'm a newlywed. I've been married for about a year, but it's true. You experience these amazing feelings of love and intimacy, and then in time, they start to go away, so you need to work at it.
Yes.
And there are many ways. How would you say you can rekindle your romance?
Well, Seth, I meet a good many people in the counseling room who ask, how can we bring romance back into our relationship? And I tell them, by way of reminder, that romance and sexuality begins as a hormonal thing, an instinct to reproduce. And there are great pleasures associated with it, but creating a family can make people very busy and drain away some of that energy. So I suggest that at some point they transfer romance and sexuality from the joy of taking, we sometimes call it lust, to the joy of giving, which is what all life evolves toward.
It's true, and if you can have your relationships in such a way that it's about, you actively think about giving happiness and giving pleasure as opposed to receiving it, it certainly fills your relationship with a lot more love and happiness for that matter.
It does.
Now, you have a great plethora of tips, and we're just going to go through a few of them today. Your first one is to really do your research. It's to educate yourself about love, about lust, about all of these great things.
Yes. There's a lot to learn by all people about how to give pleasure, including romantic sexual pleasure. And there's an entire branch of Indian religion called tantric yoga devoted to how to give pleasurable touch. And we all have a lot to learn about that.
And that's another one of your tips too. It is all about that touch, because constant contact, not only does it build, sexual desire, but it also makes people feel emotionally closer to each other.
Yes, and that's the second basic clue, is do all the things in addition to direct romantic sexual contact that create that flow of generosity and closeness, like time together, entertainments together.
And there's massage, and there's just the the touch of a back, or,
yes,
or holding hands,
stroking,
all that.
hugging is very big, very important.
Absolutely.
And just adoring and worshiping your mate helps.
Now,
because,
Dr. Martin, I apologize because I'm loving our conversation. Unfortunately, we're a little short on time, but I think you have another tip that I love. It's never stop trying, because as the adage is, till death do us part. You're going to be with your partner for the rest of your life, so you never stop trying, and you never stop loving.
And I have one more last tip, that you resolve your differences peacefully through what I call fair fighting, what I teach as peaceful conflict resolution. You can't feel close physically if you're afraid or angry.
Absolutely true.
That's what I really teach most, is how to resolve things peacefully, feel close, and see what happens.
Because if you're happy in the outside and you're happy in your everyday life, then you'll be happy in your sex life too. And Dr. Martin, I want to thank you so much for stopping by today.
It's my pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Good to see you.
Hey, coming